What's up, y'all? We are back with another video today. Today is going to be an NFL wide receiver tier list. Right now, I want to make a couple disclaimers first. Sorry, I know you guys hear the car. I can't control that. But this list is only wide receiver ones, right? And I might have a receiver on here in D tier, and that does not mean I think they're a D tier receiver, but in the context of wide receiver ones, I think they are a D tier wide receiver one, right? I just hope that makes sense. But yeah, like and subscribe for more. I've been loving the engagement so far. I said this in one of my last videos, but I did not think I was gonna have as many subscribers as I do now. So I really do appreciate all the love and support. Honestly, I wouldn't be continuing to make content if it wasn't for people showing me support. So I do really appreciate that. But with all of that being said, let's hop right into the video. Now, Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase, in the context of wide receiver ones, Ja'Marr Chase is an S tier wide receiver. He is he's the embodiment of what a wide receiver one, what the best wide receiver one possibly can be, and that is, can you carry your team as a wide receiver, right? And I don't want to take anything away from Joe Burrow. This is more of like, because obviously someone has to give him the ball, right? But there have been stretches where he has been the guy, and he has shown that he can be the only guy and still produce like one of the best receivers in the league, right? And he did that literally, I'm not gonna say he did that for like all of last year, but yeah, I think he had the most yards and the most touchdowns. I think he almost won the Triple Crown, or maybe he did win the Triple Crown, but I think that alone deserves him to a spot here in S tier, in the context of wide receiver ones. Zay Flowers as a wide receiver one, I mean, there's bad ones. There's some guys on here that I don't know exactly how I want to rank, but I think I'm gonna put Zay Flowers at a C tier. He has had good stats, but I think he benefits from not being on a team that needs him that much. They have Lamar. He's done more with less help. Derrick Henry being there last year obviously helped them, and it's going to be like that again this year and possibly the year after. So I think if Zay Flowers was the wide receiver one on another team, it would be more of an issue. But the fact that he's a wide receiver one on the Ravens, a team that, I'm not going to say they don't need him, but they don't necessarily need him, I think helps his cause, right? I almost wanted to put him at B tier when I was thinking about making this video, but he's a C tier in the context of wide receiver ones. But in the league, he's a B tier receiver, but wide receiver one, he's a C tier wide receiver one. DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf for me is a B tier. His stats have not been the greatest, and he has had plenty of help around him. People who are also good receivers on their own that can take some of the pressure off of DK Metcalf, and he still hasn't produced like like a Ja'Marr Chase or some other names on here that we'll get to later. But like, you know, you could throw Amon-Ra in there. You know what I mean? Some of these other guys have had less help than DK, but DK hasn't had these stats to show that he can for sure be a true wide receiver one. I think this year's going to be different. I think now he's the wide receiver one. Well, not I think. I know he's the wide receiver one, but he doesn't have as much help as he did in Seattle. And I'm really intrigued to see what happens this year. But in the context of wide receiver ones, again, I think he is a B tier wide receiver one. Jerry Jeudy, C tier as well. I think he had like the same amount of production as Zay Flowers. I think Jerry Jeudy is much better. He'd be better suited as a wide receiver 2 than a wide receiver 1, but I think just because of how bad that offense is, he has to be a wide receiver 1. He still played well, don't get me wrong, but I think that, yeah, he's on the same level here as Zay Flowers. Tyreek Hill, here's the thing about Tyreek Hill. I'm a sucker for speed. Tyreek Hill's going to S tier for me. I think if you are really fast, super fast, I think everything else can be figured out. In my opinion, that's how I feel about Tyreek Hill. I'm still going to have him here at S tier. I know last year was not that great, and I know his I think the year before that was still good, but like when he was with the Chiefs, it was even better. But I think anyone who says that Tyreek Hill is not we can go top 5 receiver, I think they're just underrating him a little bit. I think Tyreek is still that guy, and I'm excited to see what he'll do this year with the Dolphins. Or this year again with the Dolphins. Garrett Wilson. I have Garrett. I almost want to put Garrett Wilson at B, but I'm going to put Garrett Wilson at A only because... Actually, not even only because. This is the reason why. He has had much better stats, in my opinion, much better stats than DK Metcalf, with worse quarterbacks and worse help around them, and he still gets it done. And to me, that is how a wide receiver 1 should be. So I have Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 1, or at A tier for wide receiver 1s. I think that will continue again this year, and I'm excited to see how him and Justin Fields look like on the field together. Stephon Diggs, C tier for wide receiver 1s. Again, he's starting to get to the point where he's washed. He's coming off an ACL injury, so that begs the question of what he'll look like. I think if he was healthy all year and he still played okay last year, I think I would have put him at B. But I think coming off an injury, I think C tier is the only good spot to put here. I think he's gonna have probably one of his worst seasons this year, only because he's on a team that's not that good compared to obviously the other teams in the league. On a team that's not that good, and he's kind of like the guy. He's supposed to be the guy, and I don't think he can be that guy anymore. So yeah, I have C tier for Stephon Diggs. Khalil Shakir, kind of the same thing. Still had amazing production, but I would say his production, I'm not going to say it's because of Josh Allen, but I think Josh Allen and having a guy like Josh Allen definitely helps Shakir's stats a little bit more, and it allows Shakir to have the production that he does. If he just had an average quarterback, Shakir wouldn't be as productive as he is. And again, so far with the people on this list, I'd rather have all of these guys as my receiver 1 more than I would want to have Shakir. Nico Collins as a wide receiver 1, I'm actually gonna put him in A tier. He's a low A tier guy for me, but it's gonna be I'm gonna compare a lot of these guys to DK Metcalf, almost unintentionally, but kind of the same thing, right? Nico has had better stats than DK, right, with less help. And sure, I know Tank Dell was playing very well, not last year, but the year before, before he got hurt, and that definitely helped Nico's case a little bit. But even then, when Tank Dell has been hurt, Nico has still balled out, and you've seen before when it's DK's been the guy, he doesn't have the production, nowhere near as Nico has done it. So I have Nico as an A tier wide receiver 1. Brian Thomas, also A tier. I like Brian Thomas a lot. I think this year will be the year. Well, I say this will be the year. He was a rookie last year. I think this year he'll make the jump up to S tier. I think it's honestly pretty hard for receivers to even, especially rookie receivers, to be like that good. And I think if you're that good that early, I think you have S tier potential. And so that's what I see in Brian Thomas. I think this year will be even better because now he has Travis Hunter, and I know Travis Hunter is going to play more receiver than corner, so having Travis Hunter on the field with him as well is going to open up more looks for Brian Thomas, and I think Brian Thomas will have an I think he'll have an S tier year, but currently right now, I think he's A tier, but I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps up to S. This is Josh Downs, D tier. I think Josh Downs should be a receiver too, 100%. Calvin Ridley I would put at C tier, but he's like a low C, high D. I think I'd rather have some of these other guys as wide receiver 1, partially because of age. Except for, like, I would probably, I think Ridley was a receiver 1 last year. He didn't really have that great of a year. I know you can throw, like, quarterback situation and all that, but we've seen bad quarterbacks, like, I'm not going to say Sam Darnold's a horrible quarterback, but we've seen Sam Darnold had a great year with Justin Jefferson as his receiver 1, right? So I have Calvin Ridley at C tier, but he's like low C, high D. Now, they have Xavier Worthy as the receiver one. In my personal opinion, I think it's Rashee Rice. So pretend for a second that this is Rashee Rice, and I would have Rashee Rice at B. I think Rashee Rice was playing very well before he got hurt last year, and the year before that, I think he played very well as well. So I think he's a B tier receiver. I don't think he's up there yet with the level of Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, but I think he's been very respectable, and I hope he comes back this year looking like he did before. Courtland Sutton, I think Courtland Sutton and Nico Collins are very similar. They're both just consistent. They're both consistently good. They don't really have that many bad games, and what helps them is their size and their jump ball ability, right? Some of these other guys are more prone to having bad games because they can't rely on their physicals to open or they can't rely on their physical traits to make things work in unconventional situations. For instance, right, like Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he might have a bad game, but he easily can take a 3 or 4 yard drag route into a 60-yard touchdown, right? Garrett Wilson is just a different guy. He's just more athletic, right? But like Nico Collins, Nico Collins could have a bad game. You throw the ball to him 50 yards down the field, he's gonna come down with the ball. And I kind of see that, I kind of see the same thing with Courtland Sutton. You saw it a lot, especially when Russell Wilson was there. That's really what opened my eyes up to Courtland Sutton. I think he's better than DK because Courtland Sutton has been the guy for just mainly just been him for the past couple of years, and he's consistently done the same thing. So I do really like that. Jakobi Meyers. I feel like I need to put Jakobi Meyers at C tier, but I think I want to put him at D tier only because that was his one good year. I think he's like 27 and 28. He really hasn't had that much good play in the past. So I think he's D tier, but he's low C tier, high D tier in terms of, again, wide receiver ones. Ladd McConkey, great year last year. I think it would be a crime to put him at D tier, but I would say C tier. I would say actually C tier, if I can do it, above Zay Flowers. Yeah, I would say above Zay Flowers. I would not want Ladd McConkey as my number one guy, to be honest with you, me personally. I would definitely rather have some of these other guys above him as my receiver one. But Ladd McConkey didn't play bad. I think this year, though, he'll probably have a step back compared to what he did last year. I do want to change this. I think I'm going to put Brian Thomas further up. But yeah, Amon-Ra, S tier. He's been doing it long enough. Not any real big drop-offs. So I think he'll continue to have a good season. I am very intrigued to see how the Lions play this year without Ben Johnson, but I think Amon-Ra he'll still play well. I don't think Amon-Ra is a guy who is only successful because of his scheme, right? I know there's some guys that are like that. I think Amon-Ra is just talented, and he'll be fine. Now, I think from what I'm looking at, this is Marcus Golden, but I think the receiver one is going to be Jayden Reed, and if it's Jayden Reed, I think Jayden Reed is a C tier receiver one. I think he would be a good receiver two, but as a receiver one, I don't think he's there yet. Also, injuries and stuff kind of hurts him. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, assume that doesn't. Not that doesn't look. I know that's not Jayden Reed. I'm pretty sure that's not Jayden Reed. But pretend that's Jayden Reed if it's not him. Justin Jefferson, don't even have to say anything. That's S tier right there. I don't even have to say anything. I think we all know he belongs there. DJ Moore, I think DJ Moore is a B tier wide receiver one. He's an A tier receiver. Right? But in terms of wide receiver ones, he's a B tier. I just think he's not you can't rely on him as much as you can rely on some of these other guys up here. But again, I think he's a good receiver. I think I'm excited to see how the team chemistry looks between him and Caleb Williams, and I think they'll have a good year this year. This could be a year where I put him up here as like one of the top receiver ones. But yeah, I think, like, for instance, T. Higgins is wide receiver 2. I would have T. Higgins over some of these other guys, right? And people in the A tier, I would have the argument of them, but I think T Higgins would be better than B tier and down. Terry McLaurin as a wide receiver 1, I think he's very similar to DJ Moore. Good, decently consistent, but prone to bad games. Terry's also getting older. I think he's 30 now, so that's gonna hurt him a little bit as well. CeeDee Lamb, A tier. He's an S tier receiver, but I much rather have these guys over CeeDee. And I would, at this point in time, I would make the argument between Brian Thomas and CeeDee. So I can't put Lamb up in S tier. Malik Neighbors, it's gonna be basically the same argument. I think Neighbors has more of a chance of being an S tier because he was on a worse team and a worse situation last year and had better stats. But I think he's an A tier wide receiver 1. AJ Brown, I almost want to say AJ Brown, same thing, but AJ Brown played so good, and like he's decently fast. I think he's probably one of the, not even a probably, no, that's S tier. Yeah, he's in my opinion top 3. He's a top 3 jump ball guy. And he's not slow either, right? I'm pretty sure he's faster than Nico and Cortland. And I think in terms of wide receiver 1s, I'd much rather have AJ Brown over some of these other guys. I think his route running is good. I think one-on-one balls, he's coming down with most of them. I think there was that one Washington Commanders game where he just took over. He had like 2 touchdowns, like 120 yards or something like that, and he was cooking people with his route running and also just one-on-one balls. So AJ Brown I have as an S tier wide receiver 1. Mike Evans, in terms of wide receiver 1s, B tier. I think I'd rather have Nico and Cortland over Mike Evans, and these guys have like the same kind of build and skill set. But I would also take Mike Evans over DK, right? I think Mike Evans has shown more consistency by himself than DK has. So Mike Evans is a B tier wide receiver 1. Olave, I would say he's like a B tier. He plays very well, but I think I feel he's better than Ladd and Zay. And Olave's kind of been the only guy there and still been very good. I just think injury concerns are the problem with him. McMillan, D tier. He hasn't played yet. Oh, Drake London. Drake London's B tier. Kind of the same thing. I would rather have Mike Evans over Drake London, but Drake London as a receiver, I think he's like low A tier to high B. But I just think he doesn't come down with as many one-on-one balls as Mike Evans does and Sutton and Nico Collins, but still a good receiver nonetheless. Puka, as a wide receiver 1, I think Puka, I'm hovering between like a low A to a high B. I would put Puka at A tier. I think I'd rather have Puka than all these other guys in B tier, even Mike Evans. I think Puka he's still a very physical receiver, but he's still shifty enough to win on all of his routes, right? All his route running, he still has good catch in traffic and all that. So I would have Puka as an A tier. This puts him at like what, top 12? I think top 12. A top 12 receiver, and I think that's valid. Honestly, I think that's perfectly valid. Marvin Harrison Jr., I have him at B tier, but he, off of 1 year, he didn't really do anything. No, I can't. He had a worse year than Ladd McConkey. I have to put him at C tier. I'd probably put him at C tier behind Zay. Even though Zay's super fast, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be a better receiver than Judy this year. And yeah, I can't put him under Ladd McConkey. McConkey had a way better year than Marvin Harrison Jr. Ayuk, this is Ayuk coming off an injury. I would have him at B tier. I think he'll have a better year than Terry McLaurin. But yeah. And then this is Jackson Smith and Jigba. I honestly, personally would rather have DK over Njigba. So Njigba for me is going to be a C tier wide receiver 1. But yeah, this is my wide receiver 1 tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe for more as well. The next video coming up is going to be a Miami Dolphins season prediction. I'm going to go through every game. I'm going to talk about how I think the games will go, and I'll give a record at the end of that video. But let me know in the comments who you would want me to do a season prediction for next. After the Dolphins, I'm going to be looking at this video and last video and look at the comments of those videos and determine what my next video would be. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you agree with, what you disagree with. And yeah, I'm going to leave my Instagram and my TikTok down in the description below. If you want more short form content, go to my TikTok. If you just want a more personal look of who I am, my Instagram is there for that reason. But yeah, had fun making this, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.